I'm Commander Sinclair. Welcome to Babylon 5.
We are in the process of building the future.
Rangers never bluff.
We have lost much, endured much, sacrificed greatly.
Zathrus knew you would come.
I think I'll stick my head in the station's fusion reactor.
Life's full of mysteries. Consider this one of them.
If you go to Zahadu, you will die.
Wow. You guys can unmute now. How you guys all doing?
Pretty good.
Hey, it's a nice Monday afternoon, I guess. Evening. I can't tell the time. I don't care anymore. Hi, Kate. Hi, Gary. We're waiting for Keith to show up. He is currently powering a Star Fury from Starbucks here. Oh, and everyone died in my chat. Oh, no. We have Renee. We have Jacob and Monkey Jeebus. Jeebus, I tried to send you a message on Minds, but it wouldn't let me do it. So let me know how I can send you the StreamYards. We are going to be talking about Babylon 5, but in the meantime, Gary, you haven't talked much. What's your favorite thing about Babylon 5?
Sheridan.
Why's that?
I just liked his character. Second favorite character is Garibaldi.
Yeah, I like Garibaldi, especially. I just finished that episode where he's fighting the post office, and I loved it because he kept trying to do things and he keeps getting busted. And the man of the hour, the myth, the legend. Hello, Keith.
Hi, Keith.
Oh, man. Nothing like a little family tragedy. Oh, jeez.
I'm sorry.
No. My daughter's cat got loose. So.
Bummer.
Yeah, but we got her back.
That's cool. How are you doing today on this Monday? And nice to see you, sir.
Oh, man, I gotta say. First of all, I'm doing all right. And, yeah, little frazzled. I'll be all right. Anybody that's, having to move right now would know. Hey, Gary, haven't seen you in a while, buddy.
He's muted. He can't say anything.
Yeah.
I'm typing. I'm actually responding to your guest right now, Stephen. Chuck Dixon.
Oh, thank you. I forgot about that.
He's asking for the deets for the 19th. So I was typing it, and then Keith said something to me, and I responded, and I forgot I muted myself, so you don't hear my fucking typing.
All right, I'm okay.
Considerate of you, my friend. And yeah. Kate, almighty Kate, nice seeing you.
You too.
Well, okay, everyone. Thank you for showing up. Look, first of all, I got to ask, how many of you have decided to just, start watching Babylon 5? I mean, that's the big question. How many have started, or how many have started again since I've started this show?
I'm almost through. I'm almost through season 3. I've been watching at least religiously every day of the week. Again.
Wow.
Yeah, I can't stop because it just goes. Every episode is like a story within itself, but it's attached to every story, and I'm having a blast because I'm getting closer and closer to Morlons and Shadows. I'm like, I can't wait.
We don't want to say too much, just in case we're dealing with people that have never seen the show before. But I know your excitement, man, and I feel it myself. Jacob, hail to you. Wow. So, look, first of all, let me just say, given everything that's happened with a lot of other properties this week, it's good to be able to settle down and watch something like Babylon 5 that doesn't try to really stress you out in a bad way, and test your fandom, the limits of it. So,
exactly.
But what I wanted to do, first of all, is to show everyone, that when I talk about Babylon 5, I am talking as someone that is a big, big fan of the show. First of all, I got my Earth Force pin.
No way.
I know.
No, do you have a Psycor pin?
Is it a patch or is it
No. It's an Earth Force pin. That's the military.
Oh, the pin.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. I love enamel pins. I'm such a dork.
Yeah, it's nice. But here comes the prize portion of my Babylon 5 collection, because I cannot believe I was able to score this.
Oh, fun.
What? Oh wait, those are trading cards?
Trading cards. But
You have them free?
these are all of the main characters as they are for season 3.
Those are so awesome.
I know. I found it like this at a convention.
Cool.
That dude, you lucked out. Those are freaking awesome.
It was, yeah. So I've had this hidden away for quite a while. Of course, my Lynn trading card.
Why is that not wrapped up?
Oh, it will be. It will be. But I wanted to show you because, see, I had it here in a box with all my other Babylon 5 complete trading cards.
Oh my god, dude! They did that. They don't do that much anymore. They used to do that with Batman. Even New Kids on the Block had a card set. That's how funny it was.
Well, they even put out a special set for each individual season. This is season 5.
No way.
Look at this.
Dude. Oh, and they actually cared about cards. Even when you have like the card that had no information, it had great artwork.
They cared enough. Warner Brothers cared back then. And somehow between then and now they've stopped caring. Especially about this particular property. But here. Yeah, this is something that not a lot of people have ever seen, which is my big book. I got several of these every time I went to a convention, but this is a very special big book because in it, here we go, I have special Babylon 5 related goodies.
Oh, hey, Zach,
Nice.
we see you. Oh my god, that's not signed though, is it?
Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get it signed.
It's too late now, too.
For some of them.
Oh my god.
You can get Billy Mummy still because he'll sign anything.
Yeah, this is one of my favorites. Took me a long time to find this one, but behind it.
How fun.
Oh, I hate you. I liked him better with the beard for some reason. It's like when you see Ben Sisko. And he doesn't have the goatee at first, and then he finally shaves his head. It's kind of the same thing.
There's something special about this particular picture, though. This is the picture they posed for the cover of TV Guide. They made the cover of TV Guide.
I'm going to. I think I'm going to invite someone in that I promise that is a younger gen, Keith, and everyone else, and I think we're going to try to sell him Babylon 5 because he's never seen it. Are you guys down with that?
Sure.
Awesome. All right, Chase, check your DMs because I promised I would. Because there you go, dude. If you want to come in and listen to Keith, man, I missed out on all this stuff when I was younger. Come on, I that's the weird thing. As soon as you see Dylan with hair, when you see her without hair, it boggles my mind. I think she looks
How about
better.
this one?
Wait, hold on.
Mir Falin.
Oh, you bastard. Here, Gunner says something. I have one of Mira Furlan's signed CDs, a Jakar figure, and a Star Fury model. Kind of regret not getting the Lando figure, but I was just a high school student back then, so I thought it was too expensive. Oh, we always have stuff like that.
Well, here is look, I loved everybody in Babylon 5, but my favorite character, and I think it's Gary's too, was Commander Sinclair.
Very cool.
Michael O'Hare.
Mullet.
It was the 80s, really.
I know,
Actually,
into it.
That's just his hair slicked back. It's not a mullet. It's just his hair slicked back.
It's like a Days of Our Lives cover.
Well, he did a lot of solid work. One of the things I liked about the guy is that he was mainly a stage actor. He originated the role of Nathan Jessup in A Few Good Men, and that's the role that Nicholson had in the movie.
Damn, dude, you keep things pristine. How do I get in your will so I can get some of the stuff afterwards?
You have to fight my kids.
I can do it.
Oh, this was
jokes.
This was part of my press kit for the convention that I had here in town, and so I put out a massive press kit on all the guests, including Michael O'Hare. And of course, the second time I met Miro Furlan.
I hate you so much. For those who are watching and don't know, what is exactly a press kit?
A press kit is basically all your information about an event, time, date, contact information, a basic short sentence and or paragraph stating exactly what the event is and what its purpose is for the news media.
Oh, so I never knew that. Nice. And Zach, you've only watched the first episode now. That's still cool. Like Gary has said before, the first season is the weak. Oh my God, is the weakest. But once you get through that first season, especially when you hit the time travel arc, you'll start getting more interested into it.
The series got heavier and darker as it went along.
Oh yeah, it is. I'm on season 3, Zach, and I just started watching after I got a phone call. We'll try to avoid spoilers. That's our main goal.
Sorry, that's a spoiler. Now, this picture is very special because it was taken here in my town at the convention that I was working at. I know the guy that took this picture, and these guys loved this picture so much, they made copies and had them at their various conventions. But I was there when this picture was taken.
That's fun.
Dude, Marcus was one of my favorites. Like he was probably like the best way to show off what a Ranger was. And I'm not gonna go into Rangers, but dude.
Here's another picture taken at the event that I.
And then I see the hat, and then I don't like your Marcus anymore. I'm done. I don't want the hat at all. No, it's like one of those Campbell soup bowls like you see in like cartoons. I'm sorry.
I'm going to South America on an adventure.
These guys were really good, close friends in real life, as you can tell from this picture that he used to.
Stop touching me.
You're too close to me. Whoa, hello.
I like the way you breathe on my neck.
I like it when you sing different Sarah McLachlan songs and quote my show. Oh, yes. That stare. That hair. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Keith, I hate you. I hate you with a passion right now. It's out of pure jealousy right now.
You can't tell, but it's actually signed by both actors.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry about the typing, guys. I didn't mean to type for that. Damn.
She was the first Babylon 5 person I met. Nice lady. Really nice lady.
I don't want to
Julie
censor
Caitlin
your
Brown.
guys' discussion on my account. I don't have enough context yet to be spoiled. Okay, if you're fine with that, Zach, that's fine. But we're not going to ruin too. Oh my God,
That's what she looks like without all that makeup on.
it could be an Inspector Clouseau hat, though. That's one of the type of class. That's true. Putin says Marcus was well spoken. Then he could get on a rant and scream his head and put Bob around. That is true. The King Arthur episode was one of those ones where you see a different side of him because he has that real respect of history, not just for the human race, but for pretty much Minbari and every other race that he's been taught.
I can't show you anything else without giving too many spoilers.
Zach says he was
Let's
fine.
But I will say this.
I was expecting like when that dream she had where she was naked. I was hoping for that one.
Well, you know what? She likes when you get a little bad, she'll smack you on the behind. And I'm not saying how I know. I'll just
you already
say
said
that,
how you know. Your eyes are making contact with the camera right now. You're like, I can't say anything more. Jeebus says they get mad at me when I get autographs at conventions saying I'm taking a space away from fans when I can get them anytime. Like that, I'll say right now that's BS. You can be a fan and still work on a show if you still want an autograph. I don't think there should be any type of limit on that.
Yeah, just be very respectful.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Marcus was also a virgin. Ah, yes, Bester.
So again, there's not much more I can show you without spoiling stuff. So that's all I will show you out of the book. But yeah. So big Babylon 5 fan. And
I can see that.
Hard not to be once you really get into the show.
Yeah. All right. Before we push on quickly, I want to ask those who are watching in the chat, one, if you don't care to be spoiled, two, if you don't want spoilers, just so we can make sure it's fair across the board, because there's a lot of things we can talk about and there's a lot of things we have to hold back depending on how the viewers take it. Bester was so serious when Walter was really nice.
Yes.
Oh my God.
So let's just get into it. Babylon 5, as far as science fiction television goes, was a series that had a lot of influences from British sci-fi. One of those influences was a television show called Blake 7. That was a show that J. Michael Straczynski himself said, in his mind, was very influential to him. And actually, the style of show that was helped to the style of show that it was and the way that it told stories. And the ending of the show helped him figure out how to tell a story like Babylon 5. I have to say, and again, I know I keep teasing, but the ending of Blake 7 is original. I have to say they came up with a very original way to end a television series. Now, many of you can probably cheat and just go to Google and figure it out. But again, that's another one of those shows that while I've not seen all of Blake 7, JMS himself recommends that if you really want to understand where he got some of his ideas for what eventually became Babylon 5. Another show that he actually worked on prior to Babylon 5 was Captain Power and the Soldiers of the Future.
Oh, I love that show. I love that show
Yes.
so much. I love that show so much.
Straczynski, I think, was, I don't know if he was the showrunner or just the head writer, but that was a show that really was different. And to my mind, the only television show that I think Siskel and Ebert both ever really had an opportunity to review themselves. Let's see. Another show. Oh, go ahead.
I wanted to quickly say, we got a couple ones in the chat from people, so I guess it's okay to spoil a little bit with Babylon 5. I think we can talk about some of the races and stuff because I'm going to be so boring if I don't. I'm going to be so goddamn boring. Literally, I'm not going to think, hey, Terry, thank you for dropping Newport Lifeform. How are you doing? But honestly, from my heart, I watched when I was younger. and I'm rewatching it now, and it hasn't lost that precedent. It's the same when you rewatch DS9. It doesn't lose that precedent. You're really sick of season 1, but you're so happy when it's over because it branches so well into season 2 and the 3 and then the 4. It's amazing. And I'm going to go back to Keith because I feel like I'm tooting my own horn.
No. I like to see people really excited. You and Kate and everyone. So let's just start out. What was your favorite race on Babylon 5?
Those 2 parts. The first thing I want to say is my favorite thing so far since we started this little show is getting Kate to actually watch a sci-fi show. That's the come on, Kate, you're picky. You know that, right? So I was blown away. He sold you.
It's very difficult. I'm Steven was right.
I don't want to be right. Hi, Megs. This is a warning now. We did a vote. There will be mild spoilers, but my favorite race, honestly, I'll go 2. My favorite good and my favorite bad. Favorite bad, honestly, is Vorlon. Because I think Vorlon is bad in a way because of the same type as Shadow. They're always trying to push their prerogative rather than let the races that are younger grow. That's all I'm getting into it. As for good race, it has to be Minbari. I like the honor system they have. I like the casts they have. I like the way they used to have a format where they would have 3 separate casts that would work together. They would vote on things and balance things out. And eventually it became the warrior class became cowards in a way. And while the other 2 became the pushing force of making their race better. That's just my opinion on that. And Minbari with the bone, with the backbone and the hair, they look sexy. I don't care. I don't care. I don't want to polish her head for a doctor.
I like the Minbari myself. I found them to be really kind of fun. If I were to ever attempt acting and was on Babylon 5, I wouldn't mind being Minbari. I'd also have to say, what other race did I find? The Minbari take up a lot of oxygen in Babylon 5. I mean, they start out very mysterious, and then you find yourself sitting there going, kind of low key checking them out and thinking about a lot of the ways they do things, especially their version of beds. Which
It's like a COVID.
You totally forgot when they're on the ship that one time. They're all like, Nerd Lifeform says Narn and Centauri. I think you're coming from the way that Jakar and Londo always seem to interact, which, dude, that's one of the best writings I've ever seen. But Gary and Kate, what are your guys' favorite species?
Yeah.
I gotta hear this. You're muted.
Sorry, Deanna's been talking, so I had to mute it.
Okay.
The Narn. And, of course, what are those weird ones? The Vorlons, or whatever they were called.
The one in the bodysuits?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Vorlons, yeah.
Yeah, they were creepy.
Yeah. It's like that song, They're Watching You.
Yeah. And I'm trying to remember the Billy Mummy species. I think you said it before, the Minbari, or whatever.
Yeah,
they have like
pretty
weird
cool
fish-shaped ships. Yeah.
Yeah.
They actually were shaped like fish, right? I actually saw that.
Yeah, because he always walked funny.
Yeah, they waddle.
Yeah.
That I just finished that episode, Nerdporial. Yes, that episode is great. The other another favorite moment is when they're fighting over who gets to push the button for the elevator, and they have that human in the middle who's just sitting there going, "Could some of you all push the button?" Like, come on, like, no, you push it. No, you push it. And I'm like, Jesus, it's a fucking elevator button, guys. Oh,
see, and the more we talk ourselves back into just, not that it's that hard, to loving the show all over again. Mm-hmm. And again, there is something fun, positive, exciting, especially compared to a lot of the stuff going on today about Babylon 5. It offers all of the stuff that you're missing from a lot of science fiction that they have out today. And I don't mean to keep beating that drum, but it is very, very important that if you like something original, if you want to be entertained, that you watch Babylon 5 and let others know, because I personally think that if we are to get more Babylon 5, you gotta let Warner Brothers know that you're really, really interested, because we lost out on an opportunity of getting more Babylon 5 with Lost Tales. Lost Tales was the last time that J. Michael Straczynski attempted to do something, and not a lot of people responded to that. And that was really a cool idea for a television series set in the Babylon 5 universe, where you would basically do the Lost Tales of Babylon 5. And it was more of an attempt to make a pseudo anthology series. So you would have each episode, each week, be a different episode or mini movie taking place with whatever characters that they came up with that week. So you could do an episode just focused on Bester again, or John Sheridan, or Delenn, or, you know, and it was a way of doing it where you didn't need to have all the actors together and be introduced to all new characters.
There is a serious question I got to ask the chat as well as the panel. Green or purple?
Great episode.
Most people, when you get to the episode, you'll finally understand. But literally, it's literally green and purple. You'll get it when you ever get to that episode. It's fantastic, because when they finally figure out what's going on, it's like, oh my god, are you serious? I'm like, you think it's so serious?
Well, now, let me ask everybody in the chat, everyone here, and let's just try to keep it to at least the first season, second season. What has been your favorite episode so far? Let's start with Steven.
Honestly, I'm at season 3, and so far my favorite episode is I can't tell if I think it's Ship of Tears, and that's the one where he's pushing Kosh to the point where Kosh is throwing him against the wall. And the runner-up is the King Arthur one.
Okay.
There's so many. That's the problem. Each one has a point in it.
That's easy. I like the Kawasaki episode. I don't remember its name, but I like when Garibaldi's rebuilding that. I love motorcycle, and then it also has like a serious tones to it with Delenn doing like having the whole Great Council stuff, and the monologue she has is great.
That is a good episode. That is a good episode. What do you think of Garibaldi's his apartment or place to live on the ship?
He's currently single and has been for a long time. I gotta show you something. One thing I really would hope that they would do is because with that premise of having when the show was made a popular thing, what they could have done is also include Alessi products, because at the time they had a partnership with Target, and they should have included this with someone.
Oh.
So this is discontinued now. It's a teapot. Yeah. It's Whistle Dragon.
I don't remember that part of the show.
Michael Graves teapot. And if they had that with someone who, I don't know, obviously be Garibaldi, probably, because it's whimsical and funny. And it would have been kind of another small tie-in to the time the show was made, and then relevant to the character and, history stuff.
Wow.
I want to answer Mags. Yes, the Rangers. Yes, I'm into that right now. And the Rangers is not just one episode; it's a whole bunch of episodes, because it's interlinked. But yes, the one thing about Garibaldi, though, I'll agree with, is he tries to hit on telepaths like they don't know what he's thinking. That's the best part. Like, hey, baby, like, are you hitting on me? No, of course not. I can read your mind. What are you doing?
I think it's more of like, I know you can read my mind, so I'm going to think of the most possibly horrible thing on purpose just to see how you react.
I would just picture myself naked. I would picture. Sorry. Go ahead, Kate. My bad.
No, I'm sorry. I want to know how much is improv, because it seems like there's a lot of improv.
But the thing is, I would just picture myself naked. So if she was reading my mind, she'd be like, "What the hell are you doing?" I'm like, well, I went either way. You're gonna see me naked. So what are you gonna do now? What are you gonna do now? There's the jiggles. There's the pasty skin. I win. We don't even have to cuddle afterwards. Just shake your head or nod. That's all I care about. I'm so sorry. You can't tell me that wasn't in your head at all. If you had a telepath that was hot, you're staring like, what are you thinking right now? I'm not thinking anything about you, but just picture me naked because I've already seen it in the mirror. You like that?
Horrible.
There is sadness in my future. There's sadness in my current minutes. They're shaking their heads in their brains right now, going, why would you say that? I'm not imagining you naked, butt crack. You already are, dude. You just denied the fact you already are. More at 11. Sorry. Oh, come on. That was brilliant.
Oh, wow. How about you, Gary?
Severed Dreams was one of my favorite episodes from, I think it was season 3. That's when Sheridan declared Babylon 5 independent of Earth, and I was like, holy shit,
dude, that was so good. Sorry, Babylon 5 makes me hyper.
I think Garibaldi actually hit on another telepath in that one too.
I got to apologize for cutting Gary and other people off. This show just gets me so excited. It's. I'm sorry.
Hey, look, it's a great show. I mean, that's the reason why, it's a show that just really, once it captures your imagination, it's very hard to let it go. And again, I know I keep harping on this, but if you really want to take a deeper dive, once you finish the show, you can go back and get a lot out of reading the novels. Because the novels, especially those particular novels based on episodes that they actually had, include more information and other things from the script that they could not fit into the episode. So you take a much deeper dive into a story that you've already seen. So,
yeah,
I know.
I honestly love the show, and yes, oh man, it has so many good episodes, and like, I think there's only like 2 or 3 that you're just like, I could skip this and just not care. I could just not care. You get still going. You're still going.
Well, there's that. There's that.
I had a question though. Who would win in a fisticuffs? Sheridan or Sinclair?
You know what? I have to give it to Sheridan, and I'll tell you why.
Yep.
Sheridan is pure and simple. Just, he is very, very macho in everything that he does. He is a guy who is all about everything that he's ever experienced. Everything that he's ever done, he carries with him. He carries it forward. It adds to who he is. And in that respect, he really is Babylon 5's Captain Kirk.
He's a warrior.
Putin's cat says no way Sinclair is big and nuts. Oh. I thought they said he has big nuts.
Sinclair was more of a diplomatic character.
Yeah.
Like Picard.
Yeah. And again, I loved Sinclair because Sinclair is my favorite because he's different than what you would think he would be in a show like this. But Sheridan is the man. I mean, if you had to go to battle, Sheridan's the one you want with you. You know, he is the Captain Kirk type. And again, just as far as science fiction stuff goes, You know, there is no argument when it comes to Star Trek who the best captain is. I'm sorry. It's just hands down Captain Kirk. It's just, if you're not with Kirk, you really don't want to live.
I gotta say one thing, and this is why I have his comment still highlighted. Spartan Flash Sentry, you nailed it. That is pretty much true. I think that's where the biggest balls come in right there. And
by the way, Cisco would come into a second place with Star Trek.
Yeah,
Picard's like the last badass. He's not a badass.
I'm going to say I'm going to say this now. Mags, anyone in the chat, if you love Babylon 5 and it's making you happy and you're nerdgasm out in the chat. Just remember to ShamWow it afterwards. I don't care. Have fun with the chat. That's the whole point. Have fun.
Wow, Mags. Yeah, this is really making you happy.
We got some somehow a Canadian across the border into my chat. I don't know how this happened. Hi, Script.
I came in on the back of your car there, Steven. So
well, I gotta ask you a question. Oh wow, bite me. I don't drive. What car? I don't drive.
Well, however you made it across the border, I followed.
I rolled with my fat. But I want to ask you a question. Do you think it's possible that with Garibaldi, if he just pictured himself naked when she tried to read his mind, that she would already lose any argument of him hitting? Like I went off camera for this. Hitting. Would you do that if you were hitting on a telepath and they were like, "Well, are you hitting on me?" Like, no, you just show a picture of yourself naked in your mind, so they have to look at it.
That would be a very clever way to kill two birds with one stone, so to speak. Like hide the thoughts that are important, but also maybe make some headway with the telepath you want to flirt with. However, you have to be honest about yourself when you picture yourself naked.
I would do it to best.
Anything, and at least she decides to commit, and then gets disappointed. You're in a whole lot of trouble there.
I would do it to Bester as well. I would really do it to Bester as well.
But
you like this?
But in your defense script, women already do that already. So go ahead and lie.
Is that true? Those two were married in real life.
Dude.
Oh my god! Those two were married in real life? Is this true?
Yeah.
Well, that's fun.
Yeah, that was part of the interesting thing. In fact, I went to Kansas City to meet Andrea, who played Talia, and she was going to be there with Jerry Doyle, and Doyle ended up canceling at the last moment, which really disappointed me because I never caught up with Jerry. Garibaldi was my favorite character overall in the entire run of Babylon 5. And I think it was Gary's too.
Very good. Yeah.
It was just hard not to like Garibaldi.
He wasn't the most fun consistently throughout the series. Mm-hmm. Sheridan was great for the first season and a half that he was introduced, and then he just kind of went very opposite direction. And I could not believe. I think the only flaw I have with Sheridan is I didn't believe that he fell in love with Delenn. That felt a little bit too manufactured.
Oh no! Don't ruin that love story, man. Don't do that to me.
No, the love story is good. It's just the way that they got to it. I just wasn't falling. I wasn't buying into.
Now, I had one question. Would you consider Garibaldi the Bruce Willis light?
Yes, I used to joke about that all the time. Yeah, I loved
Bruce Willis better than Bruce Willis.
I love Jerry Doyle, Garibaldi so much. He converted me from liberalism to conservatism.
Oh, really?
No,
that's commendable. We'll have to send him a postcard. Honestly, I think one of my favorite memories of Garibaldi is when he's laughing watching old Looney Tunes, and you can't see it, but you can hear it, and it was just like that guy has grounded as hell right now.
Yep.
He's trying to explain it to a Membari. Why is this funny?
But that's what makes him so funny is because he has these moments where it's like relevant to the time the show aired, but then it's historical then. It's okay, I'm a huge nerd. it's like why they have the Eames office chairs in the bridge, and like, oh my god, yes, thank you. So it's like literally the most timeless office chair.
Do you remember? Do you remember the episode? Oh, that's great. You can laugh all you want. I'm sorry. I'll take the Babylon 5 station out of your head, Kate. I feel bad right now. I forgot about that. But I think my favorite episode. Oh, look now it's just shooting star tongues. But you remember the one episode where Franklin's trying to control everyone's dietary habits, and they're literally like, and they're literally like, we gotta stop this guy. We gotta stop him now. And he's literally like, and then Garibaldi's like, I'm gonna make you a meal. It's literally nothing but butter and meat and stuff. He's like, what's for dessert? Oh, you don't want dessert. You told us about our calories. You don't get dessert. Is it good dessert? Oh, it's the best dessert ever.
I just like the fact that the three of them have their meals and they just switch to what they want, and then when Franklin comes in, they have to switch back, and it's like, yep, he's just mixing and matching their appetites. Which is actually quite clever.
What
I like. Yes, I was going to talk about that. I was going to talk about the episode where Sinclair and Garibaldi played that trick on Ivanova about convincing her that
breakfast.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Or were they like, remember when Ivanova, Garibaldi, and Sheridan, they're sitting around the table at the mess hall and they're complaining about the food. And they're like, do you smell bacon? I smell bacon. Do you smell eggs? I smell eggs. Is that bacon and eggs? They're like, I'm not lifting this plate. I'm not lifting it. They're lifting like, that's real bacon and real eggs. How'd you get that? I'm like, well, Mark, I did Marcus a favor and he somehow got this. I'm like, you got bacon and eggs not rot from Earth to here. And it was strips of bacon. And like they were like, you want me to eat it? I'm like, no, I can't. And they're all eyeing it like Wile E. Coyote looking at the Roadrunner, like, I'm gonna eat all of us.
And when I watched that, I kept thinking to myself, if that's not from Earth, like, what is that bacon and eggs from?
Narn eggs and Mimbari bacon.
Yeah, I was like, what species are they made from? I'm just like, I remember that, and I was like going, where are they from then?
Well, it's the whole thing, right? They don't have, the funny thing is they have cryostasis, I think, to a certain degree technology, but they can't cryostasis food. So actually they have to make sure it gets from Earth to, like, say, a Babylon 5 or an outside planet within a certain time frame, because it will go bad. That's why, like, things like olives, anchovies, and everything that comes in a crate. I'm relating this back to the mail office episode, which is great. That they have to get it, they have to prepare it, or do something with it before it's gone.
Well, anchovies are preserved in oil for up to a couple of years. On top of that, we have kind of like what's called instant eggs. They're real eggs, but they're like half cooked, and they're like tiny little pellets. And then once you put them in water and add a little bit of milk and you stir them around, they're actually fluffy, just like scrambled eggs. You can actually, those last for months. And that's what, like, you would not be surprised how many food services that have eggs use that as opposed to like just actual like fresh eggs that are cracked and made right there. It's just because of storage, and also it's incredible. They're safe, like they can be transported for long periods of time. You'd think that's what they would have on Babylon 5. You'd also think they'd have space for a farm, because like you have all that giant open space that you see in the garden. It's like you can put a level of a farm in there.
Right. Like it's a ginormous station. There's no way that they would have an entire floor dedicated to hydroponics.
I think the best thing is, because everyone remembers this, you've seen this in like old sitcoms and current sitcoms and shows. You even done it as a kid when Sheridan tried to prepare Delenn Flarn, and she's like, too much salt. She's like, no, plant. Wow, you eat that fast. And I was sitting there going, I did that with Brussels sprouts. My parents had to make it. I remember that. Oh, too well.
All right, Steven made me laugh.
Oh, good. I'll mark that as the only time this year. Okay, Google. I made Gary laugh.
May 10th,
I was busting
5:16 Eastern Standard Time.
And I told him, I said, I find you amusing. I don't find you funny.
Yeah. That's what I say to my genitals every morning.
And he's like, what?
Oh my God. But Script is here. I think we should ask him the same questions. Script, what is your favorite race, or two races if it's good or evil? And who's your favorite character? It's just your first time, I think, being here on this show.
Well, let's see. I really like the Centauri just because of they're an aristocrat society, and I think that's kind of fascinating to see how it also is very corruptible. And Like I love the Narn. They have this cool thing, and I think it's Jakar is probably my favorite character because he has the most dramatic of arcs. He starts off as this conniving, self-interest, anything for revenge type of person, and then becomes something way better.
In the title, I fixed it. Yeah. I edited it. The people voted said it was okay.
And then he becomes this guy that goes on this really interesting journey, and he has all these ideas and thoughts. And when people try to make it a religion, he's like, "No, you can't do that. Like, you can't make." Like, he really laid into that one guy that was making idols of him. And he's like, "You don't understand. You don't get what I'm doing." Like, that's exactly. He just told him, like, "You do not get what I'm doing, and what you're doing is poison and irresponsible and horrible. It's not. That's not what it should be." And then that force compels him to leave the station. And I like the fact that he put himself in great peril to rescue Garibaldi, because Garibaldi actually does stick his neck out for other people. So you have this really cool dichotomy between a lot of the characters.
But he does that
but I think Jakar is
too.
probably the most interesting and just on the arc, and probably my most favorite because of that arc.
Kate, you were saying?
He does that right away too within the first few episodes.
Mm-hmm.
He goes from he's perceived as evil, but he's not. He's he's true neutral.
Mm-hmm.
But someone has to be.
I mean, he definitely manipulated and used his power, Jakar, at least on a station, to get women and stir the pot of some things and
But then
and I like the fact that he grew out of that.
He does, but then he manipulates things so people don't die. So.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, it's just a fantastic story arc, and for everyone, really, this series, I have to say, put a lot of care into how their characters ended up at the very end of the story, because sometimes it seems like some shows end it to end it, and they end these characters and they put them in places without really thinking about, with any real thought about the actual arc that each individual character had to go through and where they ultimately ended up. I think this character stuck the landing for pretty much every character that they had on the show. Some ended in a way that you didn't see coming. Others ended in a way that you thought, okay, not exactly what I would have thought, but appropriate.
Quickly, Dag has a comment. Any techno mage, but especially Galen. I believe that's the one that was screwing with Londo, right, with all the viruses in that one episode.
Oh man, yeah.
No. Galen is part of the future. Galen is beyond Babylon 5.
Yeah. But techno mages are cool.
Oh yeah, techno mages, yes. Michael and Sarah was the techno mage for the episode that he came on.
For those who were here at the beginning and saw the intro, that circular image I used before the screen blasted in and Keith's face appeared in big letters saying Keith chimes in. Gonna change to Keith laughs in soon. It was the techno mage symbol, because what they do, they are literally they're pretend to be mages. They use technology to disguised as magic, or magic that's actually technology, but they make it in such a way that it feels like magic. And it's great the way they introduce them.
Well, they only had the one episode, if I recall, right?
Yes, but it was one that affected the story in such a way and got fans so excited that when the sequel series came along, they had to bring them in again. So
right, yeah, because that's the one where they're messing with Veer and Londo, which I thought was charming.
You broke my listening device with your listening device. I will kick you off my station, Londo. Oh my god. Oh.
But again, for all of you who are just starting this journey, just realize that once you make it through everything that's on HBO Max, and for right now, it's just the show. there are other things to see. You might have to look around for it, or you could probably go to Amazon and try to buy the rest of the films. But it is worth your time. You know, I think overall, I've enjoyed all of the Babylon 5 made-for-television movies. Some are clearly better than others.
2007 one is a little difficult to get through.
Yeah, that's Lost Tales.
Lost Tales, yeah. I think that's got like the nephew of one of the Centauri royal family.
Yeah, yeah. But as I was saying before you came on, that was the last time that J. Michael Straczynski had done anything with the B5 universe, and unfortunately, people didn't respond too well to it. I liked the premise of that show because it was attempting to use it was more or less just individual stories, and so it was a way of returning to Babylon 5, but you didn't need to have everybody together to do it. You could have an episode just focused on one character or another character. So you could do an episode and say you could have a Jakar episode, or you could have a Delenn episode, or even a John Sheridan, or even a Veer episode,
or a Zathrus episode. That's
Which
why
one,
I didn't.
1 through 8, or
but Zathrus is the only.
Zathrus.
But that's the thing, though. When we say favorite race, I can't say Zathrus because I don't know his race. That's the one thing that bothers me.
But
I never
Zathrus
forget
is Zathrus.
Oh, I am not doing this together with you right now. I'm not doing it. So here, hold on. Before everyone goes on, I got a perfect one for Skip right now.
Who's on first?
But Zach has an important question for everyone here, and I think a lot of people, even Gary and Az, have been getting yelled at how to watch the series. So I don't think there's any order until after you watch it, like from 1 to 5, your own way, and then go back and watch and see if the story changes for you in any way. I don't think you should try to do it whatever.
As far as watching season 1, yeah, it's sort of like watch from season 2 all the way to the end, go back to watch season 1 and see kind of where it's got its start. Because I feel that the story really started kicking in and getting better, and with Sheridan became a better story starting in season 2.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that was really Straczynski's fault, because I don't want to blame the actor for it. I just think that the writing was better starting in season 2.
Well, there's less pragmatic sort of rewriting required after season 2, and I don't blame the actor at all. I mean, because for starters, she's got a fantastic voice. The Sinclair character, like you just can't help but listen to it every time he speaks. Very good gravity to it. But what Sheridan is really Sheridan's just a rewrite of Sinclair with a slightly different backstory to fit in at all the places, because there's that scene in season 1 where they're doing some sort of like a ceremony for the Minbari, and Delenn like eats this red cherry type of thing, and apparently that's supposed to be like a proposal to Sinclair in their culture at that time, but they rewrote that to be later so that Sinclair is not so much a reincarnation but just the actual
Sinclair, and I don't know what you think on this script, but it seemed like Sinclair was more of a thoughtful character, philosophical character, whereas Sheridan was more of a not a brute, but he was more of a decisive, more action character.
Definitely more
action.
active. I would say their philosophy kind of blends over, but there's like a different point of view on ethics, I think, is what separates them.
Really? Yeah, I could see that.
I'd say like the philosophy background is similar, but it's like their approach to how they interpret the philosophy is what separates them. Like,
I mean, other than that show he did, Something in the Scarecrow, that husband and wife detective show he did, really Bruce was known for Westerns. Yeah. And he brought that bravado with him. Mm-hmm. He always carries that Western bravado with him. And that's one of the reasons why I've always liked Bruce Boxleitner. And when he took over as captain, I felt that. more than you had with Sinclair, who Sinclair just seemed to be the kind of guy you would typically see in command of a major vessel that was probably more political and philosophical, whereas Sheridan is the guy who came up, was a warrior, fought in combat, all that shit, worked his way up through the ranks instead of having graduated to that rank.
Yeah, I would say also that Sinclair is a bit more hands-on and willing to take on a burden, and Sheridan was more like trying to teach the experience that he already had,
and he would delegate
everyone below, and delegate it before. He'd be like, because that's what he did with Ivanova. He's like, yeah, you're going to do this. Like, what, me? He's like, yeah, because I think you can.
I totally see that.
And if I push you a little bit, you're going to succeed. And he's right in that. And where Sinclair would be like, okay, I'll take care of it, because that's the type of guy Sinclair was. He's like, it's my responsibility. He didn't quite see the fact that in order for you to succeed at best, sometimes you got to delegate to those that are under you to make them rise to the occasion as well. Because in the event that you're not there, someone's got to fill your shoes, and you have to make sure that they're as prepared as possible to do so.
I also don't think, though, that Sinclair was someone that really was trying to rise through the ranks. Yeah. After the Battle of the Line, he seemed like he was just this guy that was just serving his time. And not that he didn't enjoy being in the service, but that I can say this without spoiling anything, he was actually asked or requested to become the commander of Babylon 5.
Yeah.
Whereas Sheridan was put there, Sheridan was put there to spite the Minbari. It was more of a political maneuver.
And one that they thought was going to be in their favor, but turned out to be the exact opposite, because his loyalties were to the principles of Earth Dome and not so much the agendas.
Yeah.
No problem, Gary. Yep.
And so, this is a show that you can examine from all these different perspectives, all these different characters, and still find new ways of being amazed. And again, how often are you getting that from other television shows today? Not named The Expanse. So, and in many ways, I mean, even deeper in some ways than even The Expanse.
Wait, stop right there. Okay, we have someone in the chat, like Memes I told I wanted to bring on the panel. I did send him an invite, but Memes of Destruction enjoys The Expanse, but he's never seen Babylon 5. And I tried to say it's kind of like the 90s Expanse in a way. Do you think there's a way it has a relation to any of you? Do you think it can be sold in that way?
Yeah, you never would have had a show like the Expanse without Babylon 5, because American audiences didn't really like sitting through stories told in the way that Babylon 5 told them. Babylon 5 is really the attempt to get Americans used to science fiction told by way of how
cerebral science
fiction.
Very
cerebral, but also told in a way and in the format of how they did it in the UK. Because there were a lot of UK programs that were used as sort of like the basis for how JMS and his writers actually thought of and designed the series.
Like 7.
Yeah.
Like 7, definitely.
Yeah, it's how many story points can you start, how many can you keep track of, and how do you give each one enough time needed to develop without having to just create filler, so to speak. So it's like we know we have to fill a 22-episode order or 25-episode order. We know we can't stick to one story for that, so we got to weave in some different stories going on. Yeah.
And this was the failure of Battlestar Galactica back in the 70s, because he didn't follow that. He, what's his name? I forget his name.
Glenn Larson.
Created it. Glenn Larson.
Yeah, Glenn Larson. Yeah.
Understood episodic television. He did not understand science fiction and how to build it, have the overarching story arc with each episode being that bottle episode for that specific story. Yeah. And he couldn't do it. And that's why the show failed. It only went one season.
Yeah, well, the first 3 episodes, you thought he was on the right track because they addressed all the issues that you'd have, and then it just kind of went off the rails because probably a little bit of budget, and also from the fact that they just didn't really know how are they going to they're basically looking at, okay, if they get to Earth, what is Earth going to be today? Is Earth going to be future now? Like, what the heck is it going to be? They didn't know, and they just kind of lost their way.
We have a younger generation coming who's never seen Babylon 5. I send the invite out, and here is Jace from 540.
So what did I miss?
Jace.
Oh, God. Yeah, that's it. If you're bringing Jace on, I got to go. I can...
Oh,
I'm sorry, Jace. When someone more manly comes on.
I'm going to leave. Fine.
No, Jace. I actually have to go.
Hold on. I'll put you near Gary just to make it easier.
Jason and I are friends on Facebook, so
yeah.
you know, I only friend people I like on Facebook.
Go for it.
Hey.
But hey guys, I do have to go.
Right.
Keith, I will see you later. Get me off the big screen, you dick.
Look your hands up.
Keep up there. This show's about Keith and his knowledge. I'm going to fuck off. I enjoy doing this show. I look forward to next week. I also look forward to this Wednesday, guys. Make sure to tune in to Fat Steven's new shows that made us. We're going to be talking about some cool shit. But also next week on the 19th, my birthday, we're going to have Chuck Dixon and his artist for their new graphic novel series that's coming out.
Uh-huh.
Yep, right on Steven's show. And,
this Wednesday, though, is this 1K celebration.
And I can't remember who's our guest on Friday. I forget. TGIF.
Your manliness.
You're going to make me look at... You guys suck at helping me on shit.
I'm sorry. We also got memes in here quickly now joining
I don't know how to do things. I'll leave it up to you, Gary. No, we got Vinny pronouncing his name. Tartamella, the comic book artist. He's going to be our guest on TGIF this Friday.
Oh, I love his art. He's awesome.
Yeah, he is. And so he's going to be our guest this Friday. And then we have Chuck Dixon and Frank, his artist, that will be Steve's guest the following Wednesday on the 19th. And then on the 20th, 21st, celebrating both my birthday and Mikey Sutton's, because our birthdays are right next to each other. We're going to have Mikey Sutton from Geekosity Magazine on the 21st. So we got a lot of good guests coming up on our shows. So
we do.
Script,
people like Gary.
You've got to get on some of these Friday shows, man. Call in sick, motherfucker.
No, if I call in sick, I have to get COVID tested.
Oh, jeez.
Oh. That sucks.
No, actually, that'll be fun. No, do it.
No, I'm not doing that.
It's not fun. Don't do it.
Yeah, it's COVID test.
Getting that thing shoved up your nose is great.
Hold on, guys. Before you go. Sorry, Memes, do your Beetlejuice intro. I know you want to do it. It's good. Watch your ears, guys.
Though I know I should be wary, till I venture someplace scary. Ghostly haunting, I turn loose. Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice!
Guys, what's going on?
Memes,
hey, man, it's good to see you again, man. I haven't done a show with you in a few weeks.
I know.
Yeah, it's good to have you on. And with that, I'm leaving. So fuck you guys.
Yeah, fuck you too.
We love you too.
Bye, guys.
Later, Gary.
Bye, Gary.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, shit.
Oh.
No, that's too much tongue for this show.
I see how it goes. The half-Jewish dragonkin shows up and everybody pieces out. It's all right. These things.
We're still here. But Memes, you've watched Expanse, but you've never watched Babylon 5, right?
Yes.
So Keith's going to try and sell it to you. We're going to try to make good memories about it. And then Kate's going to follow up with the tongue sticking out. So we got the whole show covered. Oh, come on.
Well, let me tell you this, Memes. The key with a show like The Expanse is that it is actually based on a series of books. Okay? So science fiction, in my opinion, is at its best when it retains and or remembers its literary roots. Babylon 5 is a show that does that in spades. Okay? It is a book for television, is really what it is. Each season of the show is a chapter in a 5-chapter book. It has a beginning, middle, and an end. And all of the characters that you meet are in many ways more three-dimensional than most television shows, especially from this period. You have different races, different species, different technology for each species, and it's pretty much clearly defined who everyone is. Humans, Minbari, which is a race, Narn, Centauri. It's easy to jump on board with a show like this. And if you are the least bit interested in good, character-driven, overarching stories, to anyone that has ever enjoyed any of the previous seasons prior to the last two seasons of, say, Game of Thrones, or even The Expanse, because without Babylon 5, there would really be no Expanse.
That was essentially what I was kind of getting at, because the way I essentially pitched The Expanse to people, I'm like, it's essentially Game of Thrones in space. The way you're pitching Babylon to me is that, all right, it's essentially Game of Thrones in space, except holding more towards the literature.
Yeah, because, well, one of the characters is named after one of the great science fiction authors, and Alfred Bester. And that was done on purpose. When you have someone like a J. Michael Straczynski, who is a total down with it geek nerd, who's read a lot of stuff, worked a lot of science fiction and other types of shows. But I mean, the guy is he was amazing he was clearly someone that had thought a long time about the plot, its characters, and where he wanted to go and how he wanted to go from point A all the way to the very end. And you can see that with this show. Are there certain episodes that don't click very well? There are with any type of shows that run for a few years. It's hard to hit every single episode out of the park. But this show is more consistent with how many they do hit out of the park. And the overall arc of the story that they have is amazing. And you can see, I think, where some of the people that even worked on The Expanse probably were fans of Babylon 5. So
I would totally suspect that. I mean, I was sold just after about 5 minutes of just listening to y'all talking about it. I'm just like, the way you were describing it and everything, I'm like, this sounds just like a very well done piece of literature that apparently turned into, now is it a TV series? I know there's like some spin-off movies or stuff, because like I'm like, all right, it sounds like Naruto or Dragon Ball with a heck of a lot less filler and maybe the writer remembering characters.
Yes.
And in fact, they went one better. You know how with Star Trek and Star Wars, in creating novels, those stories aren't really meant to be part of what you actually see on television or in the films, okay? Babylon 5 was different. The novels were meant to be a part of the story.
So it was all meant to be like similar. It was all the same canon, because that was one of the things. Like even
no, not canon.
It's the story
contributing to the story.
Oh, I mean,
in other words, you'd meet a character that you would read about in the book, and then maybe in a future episode, eventually meet that character. So, and this was for the books and for the comics. It was all meant to contribute to the same thing. And so initially when they started with the books, they were books that were expanded versions of episodes. And the reason why JMS, who created the show, did that was he would talk about the fact that he always had a lot of ideas. And sometimes some of these ideas would play to the larger story. He just couldn't fit all those ideas in the episode. So he put it in the book.
So he basically had a bank of ideas, and it's like, all right, maybe we can't do this. Well, I mean, that's I mean, that's smart. It's like you're managing your resources, you're creating a universe, you have the characters. You know, if for some reason you can't, okay, maybe we don't have the budget to blow up these number of like star systems. Okay, that's fine. It can be a one-off. They'll be in the book.
Yeah. Yeah. And eventually they started with more original stories, not based on episodes. Something happens at the end of the first season where you see a few characters go away. Well, then you get to follow some of those characters after they've left the show in the books. And it turns out that some of their adventures actually play into the overarching story.
So everything's just woven together. Well, it gives you incentive to actually, it's like, all right, if you read the books, you want to start to see the actual, like, it actually on film, actually on TV and stuff like that. I'm like, all right, that's a great idea. You see it just all weaves into each other. So it gives you incentive. And if you do it well, I mean, it hasn't been done very well.
It was done very well. You know, the stories that they came up with after the end of the show were amazing and made me wish the show would have lasted longer. But the creator of the series said he was only going to go 5 seasons. He said, really? 5 seasons and we are done.
Did it end strong?
It ended strong.
This is my thing. I think there might be something with 5 seasons, because even like with Breaking Bad, they stopped it after 5 seasons, because that was one of those things. It was making money, man. And it's like, you know what? We could continue to play this out. We're going to end it. And in my opinion, from what I've seen on television, Breaking Bad, in my opinion, has the best ending to a TV series ever.
I think because everyone that came after, see, nobody had done that before Babylon 5. After Babylon 5, it became a thing. 5 seasons. So 5 seasons, 5 chapters. Each season actually has its own name. And to really make things interesting, to give it more, weight. Each season of the show is 1 year in the lives of each of the characters. Okay? At the beginning of every episode always happens somewhere around the beginning of the Earth calendar year. So sometime in January. The final episode of every season happens somewhere around towards the end of the year, usually in December.
I'm just going back to 24, remembering Jack Bauer and everything. Just because, like, depending on after like the first season, it's like, all right, you're starting at like, all right, 3 a.m. You're starting at 7 a.m. You're just looking there, and every time that clock, it just, oh my god, you just hear that, it triggers me. It just triggers memories and stuff.
Well, I'd go one step further. I'd say that the series of Babylon 5 is a tome. Each season is a book, and each episode is a chapter, because each episode does have a little bit of a self-containing aspect to it, but they also set up other story elements throughout, not just the season itself, but the entirety of the show. And I think that's kind of it's a bit more of a micromanaged type of property compared to other series, which is either strictly episodic or strictly serial. And the sweet spot for the 5-season run was to try and reach that 100-episode mark, because that's your syndication threshold, at least at the time of when this show was put in production. And I don't think Babylon 5 technically has a proper 100 episodes, but it definitely meets the threshold for syndication, and for like the better royalty contracts that they had at the time in the 90s for distribution and for pay of people who worked on the show. So, I mean, that's kind of like why you did the sweet spot 5 seasons, because you can do a lot, in that time. Sorry, what am I doing? Yes. Yeah, Babylon 5 totally had 100 episodes. I'm doing my math wrong. I was thinking 4 seasons at 24, but no, they had 5 seasons at 23. So yeah, they crossed their 100 episode mark. Sorry, it's been a long day for me. But yeah, like it's all good. Yeah, 5 seasons is your sweet spot for your syndication, and also to get out, explore the best stories you can of that framework. Now 5 seasons is usually 10 to 13 episodes a season, far more contained. You don't have to worry about all those types of things because you have the syndication, so you can make far more slimmer stories. And when you get something like The Expanse, for example, everything is a lot more streamlined, whereas Babylon 5, it's not filler. It's just we've got 3 streamlined stories that we're just spreading out across a larger time frame, more of an episode order.
Also, with Babylon 5, there are things that have helped to influence the show that the creator talked about. The Foundation books by Asimov, Childhood's End, The Lord of the Rings, Dune, Linsman, shows like everything from the original Star Trek series to
I think just Dragnet with Garibaldi.
Yes, Dragnet. But even the writers that they had on the show, they had Peter David, Neil Gaiman, DC Fontana, David Gerard, and of course Harlan Ellison was really the tough guy for the show. Harlan Ellison's job was to help to make sure that all of the science fiction elements that the writers were dealing with rang true. So he was the man at arms behind the scenes, willing to whip everybody in the writers' room into shape to make sure that they did the right thing. And
science.
Yeah. So there you go. I mean, there was a lot packed into the show, and they made the most of their time. Again, you don't have to read the comics or the books. They help to give more flavor if you have the time to read them. But you can just watch the show and experience the entire thing, then go back, read the books, and see all kinds of stuff that you either didn't see, didn't understand, didn't know about.
Did you say comics?
Yeah.
DC Comics, because it's all Warner Brothers.
Oh, nice.
So this is back when Warner Brothers actually gave a damn.
1 second, guys. Toxic Man Flu just added $5 to my waistline. Thank you. I am not bashing other channels, content creators, or trolling the chat, but Fast Steven is fair game. Blah ha 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 ha. Yeah. Thank you, Toxic Man Flu, for that $5. I will definitely put it towards me flipping you off, but you can't see. So with that, you sir, get the ads treatment.
Fat Steven Scale with 2 Canadian. Drinker was so mean and mocked my fatness and movies. Ah, shut up, you fat fuck.
That was mean.
Oh, it's so great.
But he did the supervillain laugh, so it's comedic, right? That makes it okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So again, this is a show that had a lot into it, and as a fan, there is one thing that JMS had talked about and planned that I wish he had been able to go forward with it, and that was the big screen movie that he kept talking about that he wanted to make.
They've never done a Babylon 5 movie? I could have sworn
they did
I've
television
heard
movies.
Okay.
No. They did TV movies. But J. Michael Straczynski wanted to go the more cinematic route. But it's not in the way that you think. He was going to attempt to try something slightly different by taking a angle and a group of characters and do what was called the telepath war. And if you know the series, this is something that is hinted at in Babylon 5. He was actually going to do it, and he thought it was easier to do it in a theater, giving it the cinematic treatment where people with psi powers are battling it out versus trying to do that on TV. That was always what he had hinted at.
I don't know really anything about Babylon 5, but from what you just described there, it's like I tossed like $10 towards a Kickstarter to get that done. Like I'm just like are there not enough fans out there to like do? Because this is my thing. It's like I truly believe fans are the future. Why? You just look at the velocity of information, the sheer fact we can be talking to each other from multiple countries, from all over the world. Frickin', I can become like a Scaly on command and everything. It's a wonderful world right now. We can do so many things. It's like, why not? Because like even within like the greater Godzilla community, here's the thing. Like as far as Godzilla animation goes, there's a decent little community there. I watched something that did the end to the Netflix Godzilla series, which was a different take, and I kind of like because they had like an asymmetrical shield and different numbers and stuff, which were kind of cool. But the way they had the battle with Ghidorah, it's like. I understand the concept, but this dude made a half-hour movie where literally you got everything you wanted, everything that was hinted at. It was freaking epic. It paid homage to so many different Godzilla movies, Godzilla Final Wars and everything. It's like you got basically Godzilla essentially tanking the moon. My apologies for spoilers. It's a great fan film. I'm like, Netflix should hire this guy. Or maybe we could crowdfund the money to maybe buy the IP rights, because if someone's not going to use it, let somebody use it. I want to create a kaiju video game.
Your enthusiasm is infectious.
No, I'm just saying, like, take Fortnite and just fight monsters.
That's good. I like that.
That's a great idea.
Well, you need like 100 people. How many people is in Fortnite?
100 people.
What?
100 people. There's 100 people per lobby.
I'm just making a suggestion, is all.
No, I'm just letting you know it's 100 people in the lobby.
Oh, it's smart. There you
It is
go.
very smart. I like what you did there too, trying to bring in Fortnite.
Is the Unreal Engine open source?
I don't think so. But it's also it's Unreal Engine, right? So I guess
that one, I don't know. I haven't technologied in a while. I remember when I copied Minecraft 3. My apologies. I'll totally pay you the money, whoever owns the rights right now. But like my buddy had it. It's like you couldn't just rewrite it using the CDRW. No. You had to copy the files over, but you couldn't see all the files unless you did show hidden files. And then you copied them all, you put them on your hard drive, and then you burn it up to a CD. And then for some reason the key didn't. Whatever. It was a good game.
Well, Babylon 5 is really something that you have to prepare for, but it's easy to get into. There are a lot of fans like me that actually think that Warner Brothers would do well to continue with this story, to continue really with this universe, not with the story. But so far, they're up their own backsides right now. So
is the IP like for the rights to do that? Are they being utilized to make any revenue for their holders right now?
No, it's just sitting there.
Good.
After all this work, after everything that's been done, Babylon 5 is basically sitting on a shelf. That's it.
I'm just saying, like, how much is that worth? Like, could the community just be like, we're going to buy this open source, make whatever the hell you want, and then just let the best versions of it? I don't know.
You know what? If anybody were to buy the rights, somehow get them from Warner Brothers, I'd say the first thing they should think about doing is putting together a video game, because they were originally talking about that and never got that thing going. People over the years have been talking about it, and I think there are even a few people online that have had looks at certain things related to it. But I would have loved to have seen a Babylon 5 video game.
Is Babylon 5 in space?
Oh yeah.
Now, isn't there like a space game that came out that people weren't happy with, but they made things better, and basically it generates an entire universe? Like, couldn't you? Maybe something like that. I don't know.
You mean like Spore?
I forget what it is.
No Man's Sky.
Yes, that one. But I'm like, couldn't you just like crowdfund to have them buy it and just create it in the Babylon 5 and just set up your stories and markers?
But it technically actually means they could. The amount of creation and the capabilities you have in that game now from launch, it's gone so far and so immense that you could probably, if they have the shipbuilding capabilities of customizing your own ship, you could make a Star Fury if you wanted to. I don't know. But they have a lot there. Minecraft would be another one. At the same time, you would have to also get the copyright, right? I guess the rights to those types of ships, especially to license them within a game. So it'd have to be on WB giving anything.
When you watch Babylon 5, when you go through the entire series, by the time you reach the final episode, you can look back and realize that this is one of the biggest, most well-built fictional universes out there. And the fact that Warner Brothers hasn't done anything, given the fact that as of right now, Star Wars is burning to the ground, Star Trek is burning to the ground. If Warner Brothers would just put just a little effort into trying to put Babylon 5 back in production and trying to do something with it, it would probably work out very well for them. But,
has anyone tried asking nicely? Like, bring back our Babylon to me, bring back Babylon to me.
J. Michael Straczynski himself has had several conversations, but it seems like the current people running Warner Brothers really don't want to do anything with it at the time.
Yeah, you'd need a third-party studio to come in to make a case, and then they would have to be the ones to pretty much have the creative control with JMS to follow through with Babylon 5. And Warner Brothers would just be in the co-financing distribution aspect of things, because that would be the benefit to Warner Brothers financially, and to the benefit, I guess, of JMS and hopefully the fans if they like what JMS wants to do. And oddly enough, he could probably still get away with doing that Psy War, because you don't need Walter Koenig for that. You really don't.
No, you don't. That entire storyline. Oh, geez. I almost
don't even have to go through the storyline. Don't spoil it for me.
Yeah. I was about to go through a spoiler because of what happened in the books that they put out. But yes. What's
I'm looking at Amazon Prime essentially. Okay, so what you're saying is I need to finish my last 3 episodes of The Expanse and then start watching this.
Yeah.
Again, if you are a fan of Lord of the Rings and of really Game of Thrones, but you set it all within a science fiction universe that has deep roots in things like Dune and Foundation. Yeah, that's Babylon 5.
Wait, are you talking like SPC? Foundation?
No, I don't think he's talking about the
really old Foundation series from I think the 50s.
Isaac Asimov's great series of stories that are about to be adapted into a show, I think.
On Apple Plus by David S. Goyer, so don't hold your breath, but hopefully there'll be some good nuggets of awesomeness in there.
So this is a big deal. Not to, but this is good stuff. There are worse ways to spend your time. My advice to you would be see what you think if you were to check out season 2, episode 1, and just check that out and see what you think.
Mm-hmm. Can I start at season 1 and just watch the series?
You can.
You can do that, but even the creator of the show will say seasons 1's kind of rough. There are episodes that are good, and there are episodes that are the best.
There are directing techniques that will make you laugh.
Yeah, I will say this. The first one that they have up there is really the pilot. And the pilot is very long, very drawn out. I personally believe that you can watch the entire series and then watch the pilot last after you finish the series.
It's kind of like a prequel.
Yes. And then, they have they actually have a prequel movie too.
Well, I mean, that kind of reminds me of sorry to cut you off. It's like Hercules and Xena. It's like, to be fair, Hercules was kind of like the prequel to the Xena series.
Yeah.
Yes, it was. And they ended up making I think it's 5 TV movies. So
if you count the Crusade one, I think, yeah, right?
Well, I'm counting. Let's see. The first one was In the Beginning.
Mm-hmm.
which was literally the beginning. So you start before the Babylon 5 series. So you start with the war, is really what it is. You get to see and follow all these characters as to what they were doing when they were at war, which is the war that began the main reason why there's a Babylon 5 station. And then they have another episode that's actually set, another movie that's actually set during the series. It's called Babylon 5 Third Space. Okay? Then they have another one called, I'm trying to do this all from memory. Oh, geez, just the one with Martin Sheen in it, where he plays. I'm gonna have to look that up because it's been so long. I really do need to watch these again. Yeah.
I'm just reading the wiki and I'm like, all right. So I'm essentially seeing like, all right, Tycho Station, Deep Space Nine. I'm like, I like those things.
Well, just be careful what you investigate with Babylon 5 online.
Stop reading. Okay.
Yeah, none of the timelines line up with regards to the claims that one stole from the other.
and also, people like to spoil stuff. The great thing about Babylon 5 is if you're new to it, you should just go in kind of blind and just check it out for yourself, and let it do the hard work. Let it try to convince you itself, and just meet it on its own terms.
That's fair.
I think that I don't think you'll really be disappointed if you are a fan of Game of Thrones and Lord of the Rings and all that other stuff. River of Souls. That's the name of the movie. The River of Souls. And then A Call to Arms, which was actually a prequel to a pilot to what eventually became the spinoff series. But
there's also a pilot, Legend of the Rangers, I don't think got released.
Actually, it did get released because I did see it.
So you saw it. So the rest of the world didn't.
There. Oh yeah, you guys missed how I began the show.
Yeah.
So I came in and gave everybody a look at my book, and
it's not an innuendo, ladies and gentlemen. It's not an innuendo.
Here we go.
It's got a book.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's
That is
for
nice.
Legend of the Rangers. It's a good cast. But big fan. I've been fortunate to meet quite a few of the Babylon 5 actors over the years. So, here.
I haven't seen one of those binders with those things in so long. I used to put my pictures of like monster drawings in them.
And there's Clobberin. Yes, Legend of the Rangers is out there. And the Heil Clobberin, how you doing, brother? River of the Souls, Martin Sheen. Yeah, dude, you're on point. We're gonna have to get him on there. Here we go. I'd started season 1, episode 1, the pilot, The Gathering, is clunky. I agree with Keith. You can skip the pilot, though Gary and S started with the pilot and are now hooked. When I first the pilot, though, for me, honestly, I can agree with both. Like, I didn't like it, but at the same time, I watched it out of respect. It wasn't. I'm a Shadow War dude, man. I'm always going to be a Shadow War dude. Always going to be a Shadow War dude.
Wait, is there a card game?
No, those are actually
just trading cards.
Yeah,
they did a magnificent job on their trading cards. And this is, again, back when Warner Brothers actually gave a darn. Oh, sorry.
I feel like this IP is going so underutilized right now.
Big time. And here's the complete trading cards for Babylon 5.
You could have a card battle game. You could have a digital version. You could have a
Actually,
series.
They did have a card battle game. And not a lot of people got into it, and eventually it went nowhere. But guess who has like 5 boxes?
You? How do I get a box?
What would be the like skills? Sarcasm?
Probably one of them. It's got to be like an end game card of like Ivanova's right.
Don't hate an unopened copy of the original Mario Bros. Is like $30,000 now. That is very shiny.
Card?
I like it. I don't know what it is.
That's because I have never really dug this out until it's been a long time since I've actually even held this in my hands. So yeah, they really, Warner Brothers and the people behind the show worked really hard to do some incredible work on their stuff. And for all the work that they did and everything that they went through, now Warner Brothers is acting like they don't know these people. They are big time in all of them.
Now, the one person we haven't heard a lot about, Jace, are you still awake or did we bore you to death?
Yeah, I'm still here, man.
What do you think so far that's being shared?
I don't know, man. I'm just enjoying listening. So
okay, I'm putting you on the spot.
I think it's pretty cool. I haven't seen The Expanse or Babylon 5, so I don't have so many opinions on it yet.
I'm gonna have to make it like a rule for next. We're gonna have you back, but
yeah.
I think I want memes and Jace to both at least watch one episode in the series.
Oh yeah, man!
And when we come back next week, I want to hear. Yeah,
I really want to watch it.
For next Monday, though, I want to see that. I want to see it because Mags is yelling at you in all caps right now. You are missing out. You are missing out, and I agree.
I'm sold. I'm sold, man.
Dude, you would love it. And like when I'm doing this, go on.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No.
I was just going to say, this is the picture that was taken for the cover of TV Guide. When the one time they actually made the cover.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that's got to be season 4, right?
Or season 3.
Well, no. Sheridan didn't get the beard until season 4.
I thought he had the beard in season. Actually, you're right. Season 4. Season 4. Yeah, you're right.
It wasn't until the Earth stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
It wasn't until he became. 4. Yeah. I'm not going to spoil that.
Yeah, don't spoil that.
Now, who has the rights? It's Warner Brothers.
It's Warner Brothers.
Okay, tweet sent.
I mean, the property is still technically owned by JMS, but Warner Brothers has the rights to help make more, so to speak.
I asked them to bring back my Babylon to me.
Notice, I love these devices.
I put a heart in it.
Having the communicator on the back of your hand.
Ooh.
Love that.
Does it get itchy?
They had to use glue to keep it on there, and there are times you can see like bloopers and stuff where they would do something and the communicator would fall off or something.
Yeah, they didn't use the proper spirit gum because that does not do well if you have hair on your hands.
Yep.
Oh yeah, it gets pulley.
Yeah, even with like a releaser, it does not do well. So
the show.
I'm gonna start, man. Like I have, I'm gonna watch it.
You better.
Yeah, I will, man. And shall I watch the movies also?
So our mission, should we choose to accept it, which Steven totally needs us to.
Actually, wait. Hold on. I got to think. Everyone who's going to be back here next week, whether you're in the chat or on the panel, you're going to watch an episode. I'm on season 3. I have a lot on you guys. Keith has more on me because he has stuff.
Dude,
sexy stuff.
When I start watching something, I'm binging most of the things, dude.
If I have to host a watch party and just pick one of my favorite episodes and throw you guys in, I will do that and set it up in a Discord or something. But yeah, you guys need to watch an episode. And then when we do this again next Monday, I'm not ending the show. I'm just saying this. I want to know what you guys think and whether or not you want to watch more afterwards. That's the thing we should start doing with people, showing older content and why we love it so much by picking an episode that throws them in there going, I don't understand what's going on. So they have to go to the backstory to get to the current story.
Yeah. So did you just create a new show called Let's Just Jump Into It?
I don't jump. Yes, we're gonna change. It's no longer to be Keith chimes in. It's gonna be Keith jumps in. That's what we're gonna call it because I don't jump. I don't jump unless there's like 4 clips of rubber bands.
Yeah. When we're actually talking about it, I'm actually multitasking, watching this show at the same time as we talk.
What episode are you on now? To see if I can catch up. I am currently on season 3, and I just finished interlude and examination. So I'm at almost.
I started on season 1, episode 1, so I have the episode up, watching it at the same time while we are talking.
Well, now remember, my suggestion was to start with episode 1, season 2, and I know that sounds weird.
No, it's perfect. It's perfect.
But when you go through all of season 2 and then you come back to season 1, it does make sense. And plus, the reason why you can't skip season 1 is that there's at least a couple of episodes, one in particular, that is very important to the overall story that they are telling.
No, I like when I watch something, I will start from the first thing and I will just binge everything.
You can.
Good luck to you. Good luck to you.
I will say this though, if this is really funny because when I was like rewatching it recently, I kept that first season. So much of the tone and the way that they're doing the special effects and the music cues and stuff reminded me of this terrible TV show called Hypernauts, which was I think like it was like a Nickelodeon not cartoon show, but it was treated like a cartoon show. It's about these 3 kids in some sort of space academy and get hurled on the other side of the galaxy, and they gotta make their way home. But it's got like all the synthetics, synthesizer type music and stuff. And you can find the series, I think, on YouTube because no one's ever going to distribute it on DVD or Blu-ray because it's really bad.
It had ugly mechs in it too, like Mech Warrior. I remember that.
Yeah, Mech Warrior. They actually have something that looks like a Narn in it. That's a female.
Yeah.
In it as well. And but like just some of the approach on the post-production of that show echoes a little bit only in the first season of Babylon 5. Once you get to season 2, it finds its own groove and it's way far more of its own thing. It doesn't feel like your standard mid-90s sci-fi attempt at sci-fi show on the production side of things. The writing, however, for Babylon 5 is obviously far superior than what you're going to get on Hypernauts.
I want to I wanted to address Putin's cat quickly. It's not proper. Sure, you don't watch Empire first, but at the same time, I can't put one episode on someone that might bore someone. I want something that will grasp them and also like wonder why they're at this point of the story and how they got there. So not only will it make them watch season 1, they won't go ahead until they get caught up to that episode.
And one last thing. The first episode, as I said before, is actually the pilot. I forgot to say something else. The actual pilot is actually 2 years before you get, a year before you get to the first episode. In other words, from episode 1, which is really the pilot, to episode 2, there's 1 year between those 2 points.
Yeah, so The Gathering is the pilot, and I think Midnight on the Firing Line is almost a year after that.
Mm-hmm. Because when they shot the pilot, for whatever reason, Warner Brothers wasn't sure if the thing was going to go, so they waited. And so you had to wait almost a year when you watched the pilot originally to the first episode. They kind of did the same thing with Battlestar Galactica when it was the revival. They kind of made you wait a couple months before they actually started the series. So they kind of did the same thing.
Yeah, because it was originally a mini series. They didn't think they were going to do a full series. They just wanted to do like this cool special. And it hit so hard and was so well received that and luckily so that information came in before they tore down the sets. Luckily, they were able to say, yeah, do a series. And they got, I think, originally 2 seasons. And then by the midway of the first season, they were told, how long can you make this go? And that's when Moore and them tried to figure out what they could do. And
with Babylon 5, they found this really unique way to have all the sets and stuff. They use Broadway stage techniques for all the sets. And what that means is all of the walls could move. You could change a set literally just by moving walls around to be able to allow camera equipment or to take any angle that you wanted from any shot from any of the sets.
Yeah, they'd use the riser and flats are the terms for it. So the risers are your grounds parts of your sets, and then your flats are your walls, and they would just mix and match those. They were pretty well designed because in most cases you cannot pick out what is what being reused. They have this thing called the Zocalo, which is kind of like the community center sort of thing. Almost every wall and set is used in the Zocalo, but in a way that you don't realize. Yeah.
And then combine that with great lighting, and then you just focus all the actors and pull them into the scene. And you can create all this different looks and angles and again with Harlan Ellison basically whipping all the writers into shape, you have a unique experience.
But I think they added, I think they had 2 standing sets in the first season, which was basically your CNC and your delegation room. And then with every subsequent season, they add in an additional standing set because they would get the budget for it. But everything else around, like the entire community of Babylon 5, like all the hallway stuff, it's all just risers and flats just being repurposed and removed. Even
Star
with
Trek,
the quarters, yeah.
Yeah, Star Trek had a much larger budget, much larger budget than Babylon 5. The Babylon 5, when they were filming this show, had a much smaller budget, but the way that they used it was so smart. And again, if you look at an episode of Babylon 5, even the look of Babylon 5, I think, helped to influence shows like The Expanse.
Because I was going to say, that was one of the things I heard, but at least like the early seasons of The Expanse, it's like they did that for like dirt cheap, I heard. I'm just like, wait, it sounds similar to what you were saying. It's like, all right, we have a lot of stuff. It's kind of interchangeable. Let's just kind of like adjust some of the heights and everything using the tools we have. We move the sets around and we do the best job we can with our money.
They're really smart with it too, because not only do they are very specific with certain props, and they use them as to assert authority. So this is here because this person is in charge, and that's really smart.
All of it is just well thought out, and that's really what you want from a show. You want to look at a show, experience a show, and have everything be well thought out. Costumes, your scripts, your sets. You want people to think about this stuff, and you want them to try to treat it, with a measure of reality and for the audience's sake, to draw you in. And it does.
Did you say sets or sex?
Both.
Because I'm just thinking of The Expanse, so either of those could be true.
Well, now,
I will
will
say
say
network
this.
TV wasn't. Okay, never mind. My apologies.
For a show that was syndicated, there are certain things they do get into in Babylon 5 that was kind of ahead of its time. So let me just put that out there.
I was projecting. I apologize again. But no. The way you were describing that and everything, that was one of the things that I kind of noticed also, like with The Expanse. It's like they're going out there, they're connecting the characters, and the way they do it, do they, like, at least the way the books are written, do they, like, is it kind of like Game of Thrones, like one chapter is on one character, or is it just kind of like they're covering the same general area, or how does that work?
Well, are you talking about the actual series or the books that were produced in conjunction with?
I had an idea, and then I realized what the answer was for at least the actual, yes.
The actual series is done like, again, J. Michael Straczynski grew up as a fan of Star Trek. So his thought was, he wanted to bring that back, but he wanted to find a different way of doing things, because he didn't believe in trying to just copy what Star Trek did. He wanted to create an entire universe, and he wanted to throw everything in there that had influenced him. Okay? A show, he watched a lot of British television. So a lot of British television shows played, or at least were kind of, a lot of their DNA is a part of how they made Babylon 5.
Is there Monty Python?
Probably.
Okay.
There are some jokes.
Let me put it to you this way: Penn and Teller make an appearance on the show in the 5th season. Playing a pair of characters that you hear about, but it isn't until the 5th season that you actually meet those characters. Like I said before, Neil Gaiman wrote an episode that is still one of the most haunting episodes of that entire run. And it is very different. It is the ultimate, I think, Halloween episode, but you can watch it at any time. And I don't like giving spoilers, but let me say about this. It is done in a way, it utilizes a different spin on a ghost story. Okay? And that's all I can say. It's a very different spin on a ghost story.
Are there Scooby snacks?
There are snacks. There are. This is the show. Look, J. Michael Straczynski pitched the show this way. People are people. From the very first moment that we stepped out and did our thing, people have always been people. And his thing was, in order to be different than Star Trek, his thing was to say, you know what? There is no grand utopia in the future. People are always going to be people.
Yeah. Humans going to heal.
We love, we fight, we hate, we make up, we do, we betray one another, we backstab, we do all, it's all the same. And it's always going to be like that. Babylon 5.
Oh, you mean don't lie to people?
Basically,
like that.
Even if we travel to the stars, we're going to bring all our problems with us.
Well, duh. We're human beings. We're perfectly imperfect creatures. But all I know is apparently right before I got on the stream, I apologize for being late as well. I got lost and people were bringing up like Ray Kurzweil and something. He wrote like Near the Singularity and stuff. So like as soon as like I was investigating that and you're starting to talk about this, all I know is Within the Expanse, as soon as you got an individual talking about like microtubules and all this stuff like that, I'm like, you just rang so many bells in like my geekdom.
It is. Babylon 5 is meant to trigger something within a lot of people. I mean, if you really want to just go down the rabbit hole of how JMS put this show together, you're going to find lots and lots of Easter eggs throughout this entire series. For me, when I got an opportunity to meet one of the cast in St. Louis when they were going out and trying to sell the pilot. And they had this preview video that they were showing about what Babylon 5 was. So a lot of the things that I've been discussing are actually a part of that video, which you can probably find on YouTube. I think for me, what really got me was JMS saying, now this is first season, that he knew what he wanted the show to be. He even knew how he was going to end the show. He knew the ending. In fact, he said, he remarked, I can even tell you what the final shot will be.
So is he opposite of George R.R. Martin?
Pretty much. Pretty much.
No, that's an inaccurate analogy, but I'm sorry, George. I'm sorry, Mr. Martin. Please finish your book.
He did tell everyone what the final shot was. And so when you see it, you know. And if you've already stopped crying in order to look through all the tears to be able to see the final shot, you realize you've reached the end. And yeah, that final episode, even for just the hardest of hard people, if you're not crying by the time you get to the end, you haven't been paying attention, you know. And it's good.
That's a characteristic of a good piece of art. A good piece of art is supposed to have an emotional response.
And you get one from that final episode. You get one. You get to see a lot of storylines wrap up, and you're saying goodbye to all of these people whose lives you've been a part of. It is one of the best final episodes I've ever seen. So it's a great way of wrapping up a series.
I may have to re-examine my current number one for a series. So challenge accepted, good sir.
It is very well done, and considering some of the stuff they cover, I was kind of surprised by how far they go in this show, because you get all kinds of little things sprinkled in that by the time you get to the final episode, you're going, but, and
as long as it makes sense,
it does make sense. But
we have a chat question before we get
Yes.
too crazy with Game of Thrones and George R. R. Martin pulling in his motorized wheelchair.
Who's my favorite on Babylon 5? I think we've already asked that.
Well, they want to hear it again.
My favorite character is Garibaldi, because when you first meet him in the pilot, what really won me over is that Garibaldi is a guy that Babylon 5 is his last chance. And what I mean by that is his military career is crap. He's been kicked out of every place. He's kind of insubordinate, you can tell from this character. He's got a bit of a mouth on him. His career is not going anywhere at all. In fact, he could very well just be drummed out. Babylon 5 is his final chance to prove himself. And Commander Sinclair gives him that chance. And he talks about the fact that given what happened to the other 4 Babylon stations, that's a part of the story, he never thought, in his mind, he doesn't think he's going to live long enough to really do anything. So in his mind, it's all done. That's how his mind is in the pilot.
He's at the end of the road there. And by the way, Garibaldi is an excellent dwarf name.
It's a real Italian name.
Yes.
I think the Garibaldi is a name, I think, that started modern Italy. Or
yes. Cops.
Cops. Modern police in
Yeah.
Italy, yeah.
Yeah. And he comes from a long line of police. So he has a revolver that belonged to his great grandmother, who was a cop.
And
he
doesn't
keeps
know
it.
how to use ammunition in that episode.
Yep.
But what he does is that's not how bullets work. But it's funny, and it's fun episode.
Yeah, so it's Garibaldi. This guy here. So
that for some reason that looks like what I imagine a special ops agent that would be coming to kill me would probably look like.
No.
What happens with Garibaldi's character arc in all 5 seasons is amazing, and that's all I'm gonna say, because I don't want to spoil anything. All these characters go through changes, and what you think when you first meet these characters, it does change over time. And again, that's as far as I'm going to go with this. That's it. I don't want to spoil anything, because I want those of you who haven't seen it to experience this,
to get the full experience.
Yeah. And again, if you can find the books, if you can find the comics, enjoy them.
Honestly,
I'm sold.
I'm glad, but I want to. I haven't talked much because I know it's Keith chimes in. But when you start watching this show, and it starts getting, they start giving you tidbits of more storylines to come. They do this in every episode. One episode might be about one thing, but they're starting to show introductions into other things that are all related to how the whole 5 seasons pan out. Every character is still growing. You never get bored with a single character. You see the relationships grow. And the things like when we watch it, like say Expanse now, or the way Game of Thrones before season 6 or 7 or 8, wherever the hell it went to, wherever it went to that, this doesn't do that. It keeps you going. it keeps you entertained. And something you saw like the last scene of one show, it will pop up later with the two other, like, not serious characters, but enough to show how the storyline is developing and how like the myths in hyperspace or something more, and it actually relates to a season down the road. They are able to connect everything in such a way that anything you missed or you saw it like for like a split second will pop up later on. It grabs you and keeps you in because there's layers. The way WandaVision, listen, I'm not going to try to bring WandaVision as a good relationship. It's not. But when WandaVision had the first couple episodes and everyone was picking apart Easter eggs, there was layers upon layers, just in the visual, the way they was talking, the way they were giving hints. Babylon 5 does this in 100 episodes, 100 plus episodes. You will not like
Memes, let me leave you with this final thing. The start of the story is 10 years after a great war. And it's a war that humanity was on the verge of losing. And when I say losing, I mean we lost every battle in this war save one. Every battle, we were on the losing end. And this alien species called the Minbari basically had all their ships parked near Earth, ready to exterminate the entire race.
Mm-hmm.
And in the midst of the final battle, with all of the remaining ships that we could gather, we called it the Battle of the Line. And one of the pilots is the new commander of Babylon 5.
He would, yeah.
Hold the line. That was one of my Dwarven Defender feats.
But here's the thing. From the point of view of everyone that were there and that survived, the Minbari were kicking our keisters. I mean, we were going to die. And then they stopped. They just stopped.
Mm-hmm.
And left.
So we won.
Scared the crap out of the species.
Mm-hmm.
They saw Twitter and they left.
A day or two later, Sinclair is found drifting in space. He had no memory of how everything ended, but he got his medal and went on with his career. So when Babylon 5 starts, Babylons 1 through 3, well, the idea came up that they needed to figure out a way not to let this happen again, because the entire war was fought over a misunderstanding. It's first contact gone wrong. So they figured, let's build something where all the universes connect. And they called it the Babylon Project. Babylons 1, 2, and 3 were all sabotaged and blew up before they went online. Babylon 4 disappeared without a trace. So this is the 5th Babylon station. And when the series starts, Vegas odds are not good for the Babylon station lasting even a year.
I apologize for anyone that hasn't watched The Expanse, but it sounded like The Expanse just simplified a lot of Babylon 5. I'm just saying, like, rather than having to go through all these complex things, it's like, all right, here's a thing, have fun.
Yeah. So you have Sinclair, who's just in the military, who's suddenly contacted by his superiors that he has been named the commander of Babylon 5. Now, this is a guy who was nowhere near being at the top of the list to even run the mail service. He just wanted to do his time and have his career. And suddenly now he is the commander of the 5th Babylon station, only to find out that he was made commander at the request of the Minbari.
And you find out why. I'm not going to say it. When you find out why, it's fascinating. It's fascinating because they bring aspects in that deals with. I'm going to leave it at faith, and the way they deliver faith upon other races you see the human connection in it, even though it's not about humanity, and it's delivered in such a way that you hope the next episode's about it, but it's not, because they want you to keep watching, and it's like breadcrumb.
It's mysteries, all kinds of mysteries.
It's like when you're watching X-Files for the first time when it first came out, and you're always wondering whether Mulder's crazy or not. It's the same type of breadcrumbs in a way.
I've never seen X-Files either.
What am I bringing people on my panel for?
No. I mean,
Okay. Never watched the X-Files. I can't get past
my
the
God.
theme- I can't get past the theme song. I have a panic attack every time.
Okay.
Don't worry about it. You're good. You're good.
Even we'll watch it with you.
Watch it on mute for the first
yeah.
20 seconds and then turn it on.
Tyler has a question, though.
Yeah. You think Star Wars would be a good TV show if done more like Star Trek and B5?
Not under Disney. Not under Disney.
Yeah, not under Disney. There you go.
Yep.
They got close. Before Disney purchased Star Wars, Lucas had shot 13 episodes of a Star Wars series.
At all the stuff that they had written, they had all the episodes written and ready to go, and nothing.
Yep, and that was supposed to be a precursor to an Obi-Wan series that they wanted to do as well.
No. Well, here's my thing. There's nothing stopping Disney from doing it, but I'm like, don't you have a whole bunch of like EU material that's like already out there that people are already kind of interested in? I'm like, what? I mean, just pay for the rights from the book. Just pay the author. I mean, like, what's the problem? You're making like Star Wars money.
Well, the other part too is that like the EU has been prior to Disney's involvement, the EU has been retconned at least twice.
How many times have they retconned Superman? You had pre-crisis and everything.
Oh, yeah, no,
absolutely. But I mean, it happened. Hey, man, I'm a Dragon Ball fan. It's like did GT happen?
Yeah, GT.
Well, GT is like what, 4 episodes stretched out to 48.
It gave us Super Saiyan 4 and Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. I'll take it.
Breaking news though, memes. They announced a new Super movie coming in 2022.
I heard.
Yeah.
Akira Toriyama finally remembered launch. They said they were bringing back a.
Wait. No. That's not fair. He's Norwegian. What do you expect? That's not.
Fuck you, Chris.
No. Let's not be racist.
Oh yeah, fuck you and all privileges.
Well, I'm not fully Norwegian, so a little bit wrong there.
I apologize.
But again, to get this back to Babylon 5, hopefully that little mystery will be enough to entice those of you who still haven't made up your minds out there, because that's just one thing. It's the tip of one of the biggest icebergs you will ever run into.
Sometimes that's just all you need.
That's just, well, there you go. But that's Babylon 5. You know, multiple stories, multiple characters. And again, it's not going to go how you think.
No.
There are a lot of surprises in store, especially for the characters.
Yep.
So there you go. And again, no matter what happens, even if certain characters disappear, they do follow those characters, and at least one of them has some interesting adventures and might show up again.
Well,
someday.
there's a character in the pilot who doesn't appear in the rest of the series, but I think is in the books.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to say who they are, though, but you'll find out pretty much by the 3rd episode.
But
again, there's a lot of good thinking.
Oh shit, we've been going 2 hours.
You know, oh my goodness, I didn't mean to do that. I am so
No, this is
sorry.
awesome. No. Before we start wrapping up, because this is one of the best episodes. I love Babylon 5. I want to do more of this. But in the this is for the chat only. I'm gonna keep propping up Keith because he needs to hear this. Please type spam a 1 if you think Keith is a great storyteller and he makes you want to get into a show. And 2, if you think, Steven should shut up. I know it's gonna be a lot of 2s because everyone wants me to shut up.
Thank you, script. I'm just a fan. That's all I could say. I wish JMS were allowed to do more, because I know he's got a lot of really cool ideas. And if what he put together with
what the hell's
the
that?
sequel series was any indication, I'm ready to see more. I'm ready to see more. The way that Babylon 5 leaves off when you get to the final episode, I should jump back. The episode before the final episode, because there's a jump in time, 20 years. But before you get to that, the setup for the rest of this universe to cover that 20-year period.
So they left so much of an opening that you could future work. Here's your orchard. Have fun.
I mean, Tom, I do have an idea though. I'm going to replay the intro quickly because I use sound samples from it, and as well as it's orbiting Babylon 5. Should I do that for me to see if that will grab people? Memes, do you want to see it?
I like animations and stuff.
All right. Well. Here we go. We're gonna give Keith the throbbing, like a throbbing star, because everyone remembers that one for that episode. but I'm gonna play this quickly and just listen to it for the next minute, guys.
I'm Commander Sinclair. Welcome to Babylon 5.
We are in the process of building the future.
Rangers never bluff.
We have lost much, endured much, sacrificed greatly.
Zathrus knew you would come.
I think I'll stick my head in the station's fusion reactor.
Life's full of mysteries. Consider this one of them.
If you go to Zahadu, you will die.
Now you heard a bunch of characters throughout the main cast, and you heard Delenn, you heard Kosh, you heard Londo, Zathrus, the Ranger, Marcus. I hope that should just grab you just a little, and that's like the way the dialogue is delivered.
The opening
you made me
for
pull
every
the
season.
nicotine.
The opening for every season. You know, I like how JMS talked about how they would come up with the ideas for the opening credits to make them all different for all different seasons. And my favorite is season 4's opening credits are just freaking amazing. You know,
So it's more than just like the Game of Thrones and like a lot of series have been doing. Like, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with it. We're showing where we're at, and like that's kind of cool. But like, I feel like so many people are doing that right now. It's kind of losing a little bit of its flair.
No, Babylon
I
5
love
does
the
it more
old-
as a prologue as opposed to a recap.
Yeah, it's a way of understanding where you are, and with, I think, actually, yeah, season 4's opening credits is allowing all the characters a chance to speak, and you're getting dialogue and quotes from different seasons leading up to that, and it's amazing, just amazing what they did with the show. They had a lot of fun. You know, they really were not concerned too much, especially by season 4. They were just gonna, they knew they were getting towards the end, and they decided to go out with a bang. And
Did
they go
did
out?
they ever go out with a bang? I'm not spoiling anymore, but oh my god,
that
you
final
gotta
episode.
have fun. You gotta have. This is the
Yeah.
thing. If you're not having fun with it, it's like that's gonna translate through. If you enjoy what you love and you enjoy what you're doing and the art that you're creating, I mean, at that point, it's like you're doing what you love. It's like how do you get better than that?
This is a cast that truly enjoys being together.
And
Now, this is the alternative to the other picture that they took, where the entire cast is flipping the camera the bird. They got everyone to do it.
Is that individual dusting with a hammer?
Yeah, that's the actor that plays Garibaldi, Jerry, and that's not a hammer. That's a broom,
Yeah,
straight broom.
that's a
My
straight from.
apologies.
That's basically that's him kind of doing an homage to Rocky and Bullwinkle.
Mhm.
Oh, he's doing a sweep.
Mhm.
Oh no, he's got the got the Canadian comedy in there. Well done, Moose and Squirrel.
Nice.
But with this, it's been over 2 hours. I think we should wrap up so Keith can eat.
Yeah.
But we're gonna do this next Monday, 4:30. Would that be a better time, Keith? You think 4:30 would be better?
Probably. Look, all I can say is thank you for listening to me ramble and talk, and hopefully I've convinced some of you that this might be worth your time. And if I
Man, you sold me.
Again, I can only point you at the door. It's you that has to walk through it.
I feel bad. I was sold listening after like 5 minutes after like watching so much of The Expanse. I'm like, wait a second. I've heard about this series all the time. They're talking about Friends or what? Because like literally, I heard Nina talking about it. One of my friends, like she wanted like help tutoring for philosophy, and they were watching The Expanse in her philosophy class. So it's like I started watching The Expanse. I'm like, this is freaking amazing. And now it's like, oh wait, 5 seasons? I can totally do 5 seasons about this series that people have loved for years. I'm like, that just makes sense to me.
Now, with that, I want to start closing up. I first want to thank Kate for always being here when I look sad and pathetic. Just kidding. I look sad and pathetic, not you. Jace, thanks for coming by. We're going to have you again.
Of course, man.
Script Doctor, of course. Go fuck yourself. I love you. Fat Steven, go fuck yourself as well. Memes, I hope you come back next week as well. And most of all, thank you, Keith, man. Just being a storyteller, delivering properties that people need to watch, man. You deserve that credit.
It's fun. It's fun to see your reactions, and it's fun to share with you guys.
I feel bad being here right now. I'm like, I want to watch the series so you can actually talk about it. You're like,
we're going to close up.
I'm going to discuss abstractly for 2 hours about it. I'm just like, geez, I could watch a couple episodes by now.
But memes,
let me say this.
This is for memes in the chat. Everyone pick an episode. Or start with the first episode. Start with season 2, episode 1. Everyone do that by next Monday. And if you didn't go on and watch the rest of that season into more, that proves that it's worth it. But I want everyone to at least watch season 2, episode 1 by next Monday, and we'll talk about that episode.
Jace, let me. Since you've decided to try to binge through all this, let me say these words: Babylon squared.
Yeah.
You will not be the same after.
So with that, I want to thank everyone. Listen to episode 1. I'm putting this in the chat by next Monday's episode. We're going to start building that format. Because when we start getting to the Shadow Wars, you people will have your minds blown. See, there it is. He's already blowing it. And with that, I want to say thank you. I do want to bring up one thing. I have never celebrated a milestone for my channel, and 1,000 subscribers will be this Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. I have thanked everyone who's been there to help me do shows, participate in my gaming streams, just everything. So I want you guys to show up if you can. If you can't, that's still cool as well. But mark your calendars. We're going to end the show. This has been Keith Chimes In. Babylon 5, we're going to bring you more. And with that, I'm going to find the cheesy Earth Force thing, and we're going to end out with something for the chat. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we are out.